ADAC GT Masters.
We are go. The car's found out. He's given the squeeze.
Look at this, side by side.
Pulling out right in front. And really good close racing. Wonderful stuff. Welcome back to the Red Bull Ring. Welcome back to Spielberg, the penultimate round of the ADAC GT Masters 2025 season. After today, just 2 races left before we learn the identity of the brand new champions of this legendary series in its 19th season, the longest running GT3 championship in the world. And what a way to celebrate. Always a privilege to come here to Spielberg. We're up in the Styrian Mountains, about 75 kilometers northwest of Graz, about 200 kilometers southwest of Vienna. Conditions pretty good at the moment, 18.8 degrees centigrade. The doommongers have been predicting rain all day. It's a bit grey, but it doesn't look like it's about to rain at the moment. And Finn Wiebelhaus will be very happy if things stay exactly as they are, because he was properly dialed in actually quite greasy qualifying conditions this morning, earning a pole position with Dennis Fetzer alongside. For the 4th time this season, we have an all-Mustang front row, a lockout at the front. The points championship is very close indeed as we head into this race with Salman Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus, 24 points clear of Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman, but there are still 81 points on the table. There's 25 points today, and then after this weekend, 56 points available. So Salman Vega, a previous champion in GT Masters, and Finn Wiebelhaus, they're in a strong position, but Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman are really, really strong as well. But yesterday, it was the Audi of Nico Handke and Dennis Bulatov. We've just seen an Audi win in the DTM, so we know it's very, very strong around here. And Handke and Bulatov took their first ever win in the ADAC GT Masters yesterday. It was some recompense for what was a horrific time at the Salzburg ring, certainly for Nico Handke, comprehensively destroying the car on the Thursday following a puncture at Salzburg ring. So good way to put that behind him. Championship leaders Finn Wiebelhaus and Salman Vega came home in 2nd place yesterday, so we're able just to open up that gap at the top of the championship. And Nicholas Callas and Max Rice came home in 3rd place, so there's a bit of a theme here with the Mustangs, and that Mustang front row, it's mentioned already, the 4th time we've had a Mustang lockout at the front of the grid. It's so strong here high up in the mountains, 677 meters above sea level. As we look at Max Rice there, he's going to be starting from 5th place on the grid. We're all set fair for what is going to be an exciting race. There are just 3 sprint races left this season. We've had all the endurance races, all 6 of them. We've had 3 sprint races so far, so just the last 3 to go, and then we will know who the champion is going to be. We've just witnessed an exceptionally good DTM race, and now we're getting ready for the GT Masters. And talking to DTM, it's the voice of DTM who stood alongside me in the commentary box. We've absolutely loved GT Masters this year, haven't we, Chris Hartley?
Yeah, racing's been absolutely excellent this year in the ADAC GT Masters Championship. Great to see lots of talented young drivers coming up as well. Their first steps into GT3 racing. Some of them, like Leighton Fury, having come up through the ADAC GT4 platform as well. That's the overall championship to look at. We've got the Pro-Am Championship is still alive for the Pro-Am pairings. Alex Fack and Alex Schwarzer in the Fack Autotech Porsche with a 27-point lead over Jonas Karklis and Emil Yerdrum, who got the points yesterday, the win yesterday. So they've had 5 and 4 class wins each respectively. The Silver Cup for those champions, most of the drivers, silver rated drivers, you take the Pro-Am points out of it, and Salman Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus lead the Silver Cup by 20 points from Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman. A disappointing 11th place finish yesterday, damage to the car, costing Tim Zimmerman a few places at the end of the race. And then the road to DTM for the young drivers of the championship. You win it, you win an entry into the DTM next year. Entry fees paid for, and Finn Wiebelhaus, after picking up the points in qualifying, because you pick points up if you qualify the car. Finn qualified it on pole, 10 points available for that. So he's on 185 now, and his teammate Salman Vega is 2nd on 176 points. Leighton Fury 3rd on 163 points. Some tweaks to the BOP from yesterday. 15 kilograms more for BMWs, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, Porsches, 10 kilograms lighter than yesterday. Ready for another really good race here at the Red Bull Ring.
The cars pull away from the Le Mans lineup, as is traditional in ADAC GT Masters. And you saw Finn Wiebelhaus in the driver's seat looking chilled. You saw Dennis Fetzer just behind him. And then you saw Fabio Crestani. For a while, it looked like he was going to get pole position in this race. Then quali this morning, he was up at the top, and it was only in the absolute end of the qualifying session that he got bumped by the two Mustangs. Let's have a look at the starting grid in full, with Finn Wiebelhaus on pole position, Dennis Fetzer alongside an all-HRT Mustang front row for race 10 of the season. Fabrizio Crestani and Julian Hanses, he was looking strong in the BMW in quali this morning. They line up on row 2. On row 3, another Mustang, Max Rice, has Tim Zimmermann alongside in another of the BMWs. On row 4, the leading Pro-Am driver, Alex Facker, in the Porsche, with Juliana Holzem in the Schubert Motorsport BMW for company. Moritz Fiskirchen had a lot of bad luck yesterday, has Leo Pickler for company. They are still challengers in the championship. Yesterday's winner, Dennis Bulatov, has Felix Hersiger alongside. Great to have him here on the grid. Emil Yerdrum and Simon Konoprim line up on row 7. Row 8, Kari Schreiner is alongside Rudolf Benno. He's in one of the older BMWs, the older Evos. And then Adam Konopka, who was looking very strong last time out yesterday, make that in the Lamborghini at the back of the pack. So we're on the formation lap at the moment. The car's just up at turn 8 as we're riding on board with Simon Konoprim. He's got a bit of work to do from there, but will fight his way forwards in the Powell Motorsport Lamborghini out on 14th position on the grid. So the closing part of this formation lap, not allowed to have tyre warmers here, so this is quite an important lap just to generate a little bit of heat in the tyres. They're not going to be up to full temperature, but they're going to have a bit of heat in the tyres in the brakes, so that when we arrive at turn 1 in just a few moments' time, hopefully the cars will have a bit of grip and a bit of stopping power. They're given the instruction to grid up. We are at the Red Bull Ring, a circuit that's 4.318 kilometers around with 10 turns, 7 to the right and 3 to the left. And it's Finn Wiebelhaus, his second ever pole position in this series, that leads the cars across the line. This wonderful circuit, we're getting ready for race 10 of a 12-race season. ADAC GT Masters is go, and Finn Wiebelhaus off that pole position. Dennis Fetzer falling back into the clutches of Fabrizio Crestani. The rest of the cars scattering around turn 1. Everybody makes it now into turn 2, a corner. We call it a corner, taken absolutely flat out, and then up the hill they would come. It's a steep climb into the right-hander of turn 3. Wiebelhaus has a really good start. Crestani up into second. Fetzer falling into the clutches of Julian Hanses in the BMW, on board with Tim Zimmermann in the pack. You can see the cars in front of him. Zimmermann in the orange and black BMW just in the middle of the pack there, heading towards turn 4. Wiebelhaus, really good start, but Crestani looks so strong in quali. Get the feeling he wants to challenge for that lead, on board with Simon Konoprim. Now looking back from Zimmermann, so some great camera angles for this race. Julian Hanses to the inside of the Mustang. That is for third place. So Dennis Fetzer, front row starter, relegated down into 4th place. Everybody else just shuffling for positions. Further back, there's Alex Fack as well there. He is second in the Pro-Ams. The leading Pro-Am driver, Fabrizio Crestani, who is paired up with Ernst Kirschmar, so in the Pro-Am race. But Wiebelhaus very much under control as we come round to complete the first lap of the race. The gaggle of cars into turn 9. There goes one of the marker bollards. They're meant to stay on the inside of those. Holzem takes evasive action. Simon Konoprim doesn't even bother trying to go inside him. He goes round the outside. Look at this. 3 abreast along the pit straight. They're all going to pinch down into the turn 1. We've got a bit of runoff area in turn 1, but track limits are an issue, so you cannot just go deep into the corner and expect to get away with it.
Max Rice had a horrible second half to that lap. He actually had a really decent start, and he got himself briefly up to 4th place on the run to turn 3, but he went backwards in the second half of that lap. So from 5th on the grid, the number 3 maroon coloured Mustang, back sat down in 9th place now. What triggered it really was a really good start from Giuliano Holtzum. Now remember yesterday, the second half of the race, Giuliano Holtzum and Max Rice went side by side for the best part of a lap. It was a brilliant battle, but Holtzum got the move done into this corner, turn 4. And then he was kind of on the back foot. He was offline then for that run downhill into this section. They're now going into, on lap 2, the run through turn 5, the left-hander then at turn 6, the left at turn 7, and the following corner into turn 9. That was where he just was on the back foot and he couldn't get back on the racing line. And Max Rice then dropped behind Tim Zimmerman, Alex Vack, and Leo Pickler as well. So 9th place for Rice, who was on the podium yesterday. Wiebelhaus, though, controlling things at the front, but Crestani is getting his head down now. He was 2/10 quicker through the middle portion of this lap in that Ferrari, so starting to home in now on the race-leading Mustang.
The lead duo broken clear of 3rd place on that lap. When we cross the line, we'll see whether that gap has opened up and by how much. 1.6 seconds already. We've only done 2 laps of the race, so these two in a class of their own at the moment. But Julian Hanses won't give up without a fight, so in the BMW, he's looking very strong. Leo Pickler, along with Simon Birch, very frustrated. They were dominating the championship at the start of the season, but they've fallen back and they'll want a really good points haul out of this race. So we look again at that start. Everybody crossing the line nice and clean into turn 1, 3 abreast. That's very brave, isn't it? You can get away with track limits normally on the first lap, but after that, our race director does tend to clamp down. This was the view from Max Rice. He did have a little look on the inside of Dennis Fetzer, the fellow HRT car, but then out towards turn 2 is when he started to go backwards through the pack. Tim Zimmerman getting up close and personal as well. He is currently in 7th place, and then round, this is where one of the bollards went, and then this is where Simon Connor Prim just completely went the other side of the bollards. That was coming out of turn 10, out onto the pit straight. And again, you could probably get away with it on 1 lap, but not any more than that. This is the view from Simon Connor Prim. There are the bollards. They should be on the left, not the right-hand side. There is the 21 car, Moritz Viskursen. So strong yesterday, along with Janis Fitcher. That's really put paid to them. Viskursen and Fitcher yesterday were looking so strong, but a mechanical issue saw the car retiring from the race. So they'll want to make up for that today as well.
Oh, to be a marker bollard, you're not hiding to nothing on this track, aren't you? Wiebelhaus leading by 0.7 of a second then on this lap. Side-by-side action here, though, further back. The Lambo at the inside here, he's going to sneak through, isn't he? Yes, he does on Carrie Schreiner. So good move that from Simon Connor Prim for 13th place on Carrie Schreiner. Just carried better momentum coming out of turn 10 and got the job done at turn 1. Crestani in the Ferrari was a couple of tenths slower on that last lap. New fastest lap of the race to the leader, Wiebelhaus in the HRT Mustang. Julian Hanses in the BMW is about 0.8 of a second behind Crestani's Ferrari. Then Dennis Fetzer 4th in the Ford. Giuliano Holtzum 8th on the grid, 5th in the race now. They were looking for a podium yesterday, the Holtzum twins, because they started near the front of the field on the front row, and they were on a podium for most of the race until the last 10 minutes or so, when that battle that raged between Giuliano Holtzum and Max Rice eventually went the way of Rice. So Rice has got one of the places back, he's back ahead of Pickler's Porsche, so one of those positions regained. He's now up to 8th place in the number 3 Ford Mustang.
Fabrizio Crestani is in a very strong position. It's the second weekend that we've seen him at ADAC GT Masters. He debuted along with Ernst Kirschmeier, who's sharing with again this weekend. A year ago here at the Red Bull Ring. Clearly likes it here and looking very strong. We've got a mandatory pit stop, a driver change coming up. The window for that opens 25 minutes into the race and remains open for 10 minutes. And Fabrizio Crestani has a pit stop, a minimum pit stop time that is 15 seconds less than Finn Wiebelhaus and Julian Hanses, the car in front and the car behind, on account of it being a Pro-Am pairing. So when Ernst Kirschmeier takes over, may well be in a very strong position if he can remain there at the moment, as Holtzum ducks to the inside of Dennis Fetzer, gives him the squeeze. That was a good textbook move. Alex Fack in 6th place, trying to follow through and relieve Fetzer of that 5th place. They head down towards turn 4, so Fetzer now behind Holzem and trying to come back at him. So on the outside into turn 4, Holzem just takes that line, the faster line through turn 4. Good exit as well. Fat watching on at the moment, but is lining up to have a go at the Mustang as well.
Yeah, the Fat Porsche is another one that's going to have a shorter pit stop as a Pro-Am pairing. That currently running in 6th place with Alex Fat behind the wheel, who's the pro of the Pro-Am pairing in that category. Each driver qualifies one day and starts the race in which you qualify the car. So everybody getting their turn today, that went in the second half of the race on Saturday to start the race on Sunday. A really good move that was, though, wasn't it, by Holzem up at turn 3. It was very clean as well. It didn't cost himself any time coming out of the corner, kept that momentum going. In fact, couldn't quite pounce either. So Dennis Fetzer only lost to 1 place. The black and gold Mustang, co-driven by Jonathan Chicotto, down to 5th place now. Alex Fack just behind in 6th, and then looming large in the mirrors is that BMW of Tim Zimmerman, the orange car, starting the weekend 2nd in the championship. Disappointment for him and Leighton Fury yesterday. Can they dig something out of this weekend on a track which tends to normally favour BMWs, but it hasn't quite worked out, has it, with various changes to the balance of performance for the car this weekend?
Yeah, with a circuit that's 677 metres above sea level, the air is thinner. The turbocharged cars normally have an advantage over the naturally aspirated cars with the turbo forcing the air into the system. But certainly the BMWs with the BOP, the balance of performance, which is issued to make sure the cars are level, maybe kicking in a little bit and pegging them back. Yesterday's winner, Denis Bulatov, in 10th place, and Leo Pickler there as well. Pickler very much wanting to get points, and down in 9th place at the moment is not what they need for their championship hunt. So the Audi looking very strong in 10th place at the moment. Crestani at the front is keeping Viborhaus very much in sight, about just over a second back. And if the race finished now, that is the point situation. Remember, after today, there are 56 points on the table. So Pickler and Birch will be bumped out of the championship hunt if the race finished it as it is now. But we've got a lot of racing yet to come. And Pickler, when he hands the car over to Simon Birch, there will be a different dynamic there. Both drivers very rapid, but both bringing different skills to the table. That is the rest of the championship standing. So a lot of drivers here realistically not in the championship hunt, and going for some very, very fetching gold Red Bull trophies.
Yeah, Finn Viborhaus, who leads the race, and his co-driver, former champion Salman Vega, have been consistent all year, but they've been consistently getting podiums in the second half of the season, which is really helping to project and grow their championship lead. So they've had 4 podiums in the last 5 races now. They've hit real form at just the right time and leading the race again now, of course, for another podium, potentially another 25 points coming their way. Carrie Schreiner coming under pressure from Herziger here in the Lamborghini. The Audi outbraked by the Lamborghini, but the Lamborghini can't find a way through at turn 4, and Alan Valente will get aboard the Audi after the pit stops. He's driven 3 different brands of car now the last 3 seasons in the championship. He's been a Mercedes driver, he's been a Ferrari driver, now he's an Audi driver. Alan Valente, the very talented, rapid Swiss driver, to get into that pink and white Audi, currently running in 14th place. But yeah, Denis Bulatov, 10th at the moment, started 11th. Remember, they won the race yesterday and looked very comfortable winning their first race. Denis drove very well in the second half of the race. His teammate got the car on pole position and built a nice advantage going into the first pit stops. But at the moment, because it's so competitive, because it's so equally matched out there, even though that blue and yellow Audi was able to win the race yesterday, the Scherer Sport car, he just can't get through the order at the moment because they're all pretty much on the similar pace, apart from the top 2, who are miles clear now.
But of course, Bulatov and Handke have an extra 20 kilos of success ballast on board that Audi as well, on account of that win yesterday. Viborhaus and Vega will have an extra 10 kilograms. Well, that's Viborhaus at the moment. Doesn't seem to be slowing him down, does it? Nicholas Callas and Max Rice with an extra 5 kilos on account of finishing 3rd yesterday. Tim Zimmerman looking impatient as he gets through on the last lap. Fabrizio Crestani had set a purple in Sector 1, the quickest man of all in Sector 1. So clearly making making his intentions known. He's got the gap now down to 0.8 of a second between first and second. We ride on board with 8th place Max Rice. Now he's challenging Tim Zimmerman. It's Mustang versus BMW. Zimmerman, a very experienced pilot in ADAC GT Masters. We've seen him here many times over the years. This is his 66th race. Max Rice, very much a newcomer in comparison. This is his 22nd race in ADAC GT Masters. So youthful vigor attacking the experience of Tim Zimmerman. Out into turn 9 and 10 they come once again. Zimmerman looks to have this covered off because suddenly Max Rice has Leo Pickler, who you could just see from the body language of the car how hard he is pushing as they head up into turn 1. Then out of turn 1 they will come towards turn 2, and Pickler may be in a position here to pick up a slipstream and try and make a move on that 8th place. So out towards turn 2 we come. That's Hanses 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all in a row, all slipstreaming each other really up the hill towards turn 3. Having a little look to the outside, so Pickler's got his own problems in the shape of Dennis Bulatov at the back of the queue. He can challenge without the risk of losing places to the car behind, because the car behind is Emil Yerdrum, who is some 2.6 seconds back down the road.
It's what we call a snake of cars, isn't it? And Bulatov again trying the outside line. He can stay on the outside through turn 4, eventually get the inside line 2 turns later into the left-hander at 6 this corner, but he's not there yet. The inside line is now covered anyway, so has to try and go around the outside. Nothing doing there. Marcel Verskirchen in the Mercedes, the Schitzland Mercedes in the background, which had a DNF yesterday, struggling to break into the top 10 as Bulatov again tries to force the line, force the issue, and with a couple of wheels through the gravel there, Leo Pickler almost running out of road as they went through turn 7 and 8, downhill now into turn 9. But it'll be follow your leader through these final 2 turns of the lap. They go into this corner at 190 kilometres an hour, brake down to 140 kilometres an hour. They'll be doing 250 kilometres an hour, but before they hit the brakes again on the way into the uphill braking zone into the right-hander at turn 1. As it stands, it is going to be 39 points between Wiebelhaus and Vega, the championship leaders, and Fury and Zimmerman are 7th at the moment, but they get the points for 6 because the Crestani Ferrari in 2nd place, not eligible for championship points. And in terms of the Pro-Am championship, because that Crestani Ferrari, again, he's not eligible for championship points, the Autotech Fat car of Alex Fack, currently 2nd on the road in the Pro-Ams, would get the points for the win, but also projected up would be Emil Yerdrum and Jonas Karklis. They get the points for 2nd, but the gap will grow as it stands, and it will be a 32-point lead in the Pro-Ams for Alex Fack and Alex Schwarzer with just 2 races to go, just 56 points available. So they are tightening their stranglehold as it stands on the Pro-Am Championship for 2025.
Certainly looking very consistent and very strong as Bulatov continues to put the pressure onto Leo Pickler. So you'll see your graphic on the left-hand side. The green numbers indicate the Pro-Am pairings, the blue are the silver pairings, and when the pit window opens, which is in about 10 minutes time, there is the minimum pit stop time. I've mentioned it already. The minimum pit stop time for the silver pairings is 70 seconds from pit so it's 85 seconds, spoiler, 85 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. For the Pro-Am pairings, the minimum pit stop time is 70 seconds from pit entry to pit exit, so 15 seconds less. So all of the cars with the green next to their numbers have the potential to leap up the order once the pit window closes. Fabrizio Crestani is sharing the driving duties in that car with a bronze-rated driver who is just about 70 years old. It shows you're never too old to go racing, because Ernst Kirschmeier is one very rapid pilot, and he'd be very happy to take that car over, which could potentially be in the lead once the pit windows are done and dusted. But we've got a bit of time yet to come, a lot of racing still to come. Finn Wiebelhaus in control, 8/10 clear of the Crestani Ferrari. Julian Hanses 6.4 back, so not really enjoying the kind of pace of the 2 cars in front. Juliana Holzem, who just feels like he's taken a step up this year. Really good driving from Juliana Holzem in 4th place, ahead of another Mustang, Dennis Fetzer.
This is Max Rice trying to come around the outside of the BMW of Tim Zimmerman. Zimmerman, though, knows he's got the line. Come alongside me, but you can't get past me. However, there is a right-hander coming up eventually, so maybe the Mustang will be able to get through there. Bits of bodywork flat, but he does get through. So another really well executed move that by Rice. Lost his places on the first lap. He went from 5th down to 9th. He's got 2 of them back now, back up into 7th place. We'll see what his speed is like now as well, because he's, for the first time in the whole race really, got a bit of a clear track in front of him as they bounce and thud over the curbs on the way out through that final turn. I was keeping an eye there on the other Mustang, side by side, looking for a move down the inside of the BMW of Holtzen was Dennis Fetzer, and that means he's slow on the throttle and he's going to kill his momentum up the hill now. So he's second favourite to get to turn 3 ahead of that Porsche. Alex Fack is going to pounce surely. The Mustang though has got plenty of grunt in a straight line, but Fack has got to go for it because there's a big gap to go through now. That Porsche side by side, Alex Fack gets through. They both run a bit wide, but the Porsche is through and up into 5th place.
Alex Fack doesn't need much of an invitation to get through, and that's exactly what he got. So just shows how when you make a move and it doesn't stick, you leave yourself susceptible to the car behind. Into turn 4, Fetzer has a little look on the outside, but now Max Rice is closing up behind him in the other of the Mustangs. There's Leo Pickler and Tim Zimmerman. They're fighting for 8th place at the moment. So Pickler, once again, has a little look to the inside, then to the outside. Bulatov has dropped back a little from that battle, so that maybe releases Pickler a little bit to put the pressure onto Tim Zimmerman without as big a risk of the Audi coming sailing through. It's the battle for 8th place at the moment. The orange and black BMW very much in the championship hunt. In 2nd place, coming into this race, 24 points back, but the car that is leading the way is also leading the championship. So Zimmerman, along with Lane Fury, will be really keen to get on up the road and chase after the leader.
Yeah, Mustangs going well again, aren't they, in their first season? 1st, 6th and 7th in the race at the moment. I was speaking to Uli Fritz, who is team principal at HRT, Hubert Haupt's team, who run these Mustangs. Their background for many, many years was in running Mercedes, and Uli was in charge of the Mercedes DTM program for many a year as well. And I was talking to him about how impressed I've been with the steep curve that they've had in both GT Masters and DTM with this car, really improving all the time with the Mustang. And I said, what have you learned the most about the car then? He said, well, what we've learned the most as the Mercedes looks to gain a place and does. Viskersen up on Yerdrum into 11th place, popping out of turn 3. He said, what we learned the most is that with the Mustang, that's Gary Schreiner who's had a spin, had a moment, that's at turn 3, and has got some damage to the right rear corner, so may have been another car involved with that. But yeah, Uli was saying the thing we've learned the most about the Mustang, he said, which is a really big, heavy car, it's very different how it handles to the Mercedes, is that the more you push it as a driver, the more you try and be aggressive with it, the slower it goes. You actually have to nurse it a little bit, which is kind of the opposite of what you might think with a big V8 Mustang, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, as we know they're very good at getting tyres into the window. Now, investigation, car 6, well, there's proof of that one.
Involved, yeah.
Felix Hersiger, a very rapid pilot, great to have him here. Left a bit of debris on the inside of that corner as well. I'm wondering whether there's going to need to be some kind of full course yellow to move that. Already, the track limit warnings are coming in as well. So that's Juliana Holzem, also Tim Zimmerman, and also Felix Hersiger. They've got track limits investigations going on as well, or warnings, let's put it that way. At the moment, it'll be an investigation if they get any more of those warnings. There's Julian Hanses in 3rd place at the moment. Juliana Holzem just behind. Then it's Alex Fack, Dennis Fetzer, Max Rice with bits of bodywork hanging off as well. And on board with Simon Conner-Prem, he'll be a lot further back than he was hoping for. He's in 13th place at the moment. Our leading Pro-Am car is still Fabrizio Crestani, just 6/10 back from the overall lead of the race. 2nd in the Pro-Am's Alex Fack, in 5th place overall, and 3rd in the Pro-Am's Emil Yerdrum, bouncing back literally from that mighty accident this time last week at the Salzburg ring, in 12th place and in a podium position for the Pro-Ams, but still plenty more to come. Right, car 6 has had the penalty thrown at him, so Felix Hersiger is going to have to pass through the penalty box 3 times for causing a collision with Gary Schreiner, so he'll have to drop his speed down to 50 kilometers an hour and pass through the penalty box, which is on the exit of turn 3, and he's going to have to do that 3 laps running. That'll add about 15 seconds onto his lap time, so that is going to hurt. It's going to drop him to stone last in this race.
Bulatov flashing the headlights there, trying to unnerve the driver ahead, not successfully so. Leo Pickler staying calm, confirmation of that penalty that Brian mentioned on the screen. Look at this side-by-side again with the Power Motorsport Lamborghini getting there first, but studying the curbs, going a bit wide. Konopka tries to find a better exit, but can't in the 44 Lamborghini. You've got Lamborghinis in a row at the moment, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th in the race, but all of them really struggling relatively. They've all got a bigger ride height and a smaller air restrictor than they've had previously, the Lamborghinis, so struggling a bit around this circuit. They're also normally aspirated engines on the Lamborghini Huracans, not turbo-powered, and that doesn't help around this track either, where the turbos breathe better. Penalty visit, first of them served then, 2 more to go. That's going to feel agonisingly slow, isn't it? But with that move from Max Rice a couple of laps ago, Tim Zimmerman now down to 8th place, pick up the points for 7th, but it's going to be a 40-point advantage now with only 56 available at Hockenheim for Vega and Wiebelhaus. It's been a really frustrating weekend for Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman, second in the championship, who would have been looking to close the gap in the championship this weekend. It's actually opened up.
Yes, and it takes the pressure off, doesn't it? Simon Vega certainly knows how to win a championship. He did it with Elias Seppänen back in 2023. Finn Wiebelhaus has never won a championship in GT3 racing, but they're in such a strong position with just 2 races remaining. As we've said before, it's not just race wins, it's consistency, but they're leading the way at the moment, so looking like it could be a maximum points haul if they can stay in that position. They've got the points for pole position, the 3 points for pole position, and they'll get 25 for a race win, but we've got a lot still to come, including the pit window, which opens in 1 minute and 3/4 and will remain open for that 10 minutes. This is where the strategy will start to play out, and I reckon at HRT they'll probably want to keep Finn Wiebelhaus out for a fairly long time. He's very quick, he's got an open track in front of him, so why bring him in? Particularly because Fabrizio Crestani, when he hands over to Ernst Kirschmeier, is going to have the opportunity to jump up the road about 15 seconds, so no reason to get Finn Wiebelhaus in too early. That's what I think. Anyway, oh, there's another one of those laps that's been served by Felix Hersiger, the driver that we've seen in Porsche 6 Carrera Cup Germany as a guest, and we've seen him in the DTM trophy back in 2020. That's what it looks like. You have to get down to the speed, and if you don't do it properly, we've seen it before, you have to do it again.
He might be in trouble because he didn't quite get into the box on time.
Dear.
He got into it about 1 metre into the box. He should have gone straight through the box to start with, so he's a bit late getting into it, and he might be looked at there. Either way, he's going to be right down the order. But you're right, I think they'll keep Finn Wiebelhaus out as long as possible, certainly Crestani. Now, with this 15-second shorter pit stop for the Pro-Am cars, as you quite rightly say, the Crestani car is going to come out in the lead of the race unless they have a disaster in the pits. But also, you're going to have Alex Fack when he hands over to Alex Schwarzer. That car is 10.7 seconds behind the leader, and therefore, with a 15-second shorter pit stop, that ought to move up to 2nd place as well. So you have Pro-Am cars, a Ferrari and a Porsche, 1st and 2nd, but with, in theory, the slower drivers in next to try and dig in as much as they can, hold on for as long as they can to keep the potentially quicker silver class drivers behind them in the second, half an hour of the race.
We saw Fack and Schwarzer take a win at the Nürburgring, the first time a Pro-Am pairing have ever won a race in GT Masters, as now Leo Pickler and Dennis Bulatov go wheel to wheel. This is for 9th place. Bulatov on the outside. Pickler still has the advantage, but keep an eye on Moritz Viscursion. That Mercedes was very quick yesterday before it was hit by mechanical woes, so they've got that car back together again. But Moritz Viscursion and Janis Vitscher, a really potent combination in 11th place. I'd suggest that's not representative of the pace that they have there. But at the moment, Bulatov, well, he needed to get the job done, really, because if he tries that move again and goes to the outside, Viscursion is just going to slot up the inside and said, I'll have that, thank you very much. Pit window is open, nobody is blinking yet. Everybody's staying out at the moment, but as I say that, Juliana Holzen peels off into the pit lane. Also coming in is Dennis Vetzer, getting ready to hand over to Jonathan Cicotto. So you can see the clock ticking down, the silver runners from 85 seconds. Right, Zimmerman is in, handing over to Leighton Fury. That's a strategic move, that is. Also Leo Pickler, Simon Birch will be poised and ready. Moritz Viscursion getting ready to hand over to Janis Vitscher. picture. Here comes Jonathan Cecotto, going to help Dennis Vetzer out of the car. No major hurry at the moment. They've got 85 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. No tyre changes. This is not DTM. The mechanics, they're allowed to take tyre pressures, maybe clean the windscreen if needed, but not a lot else. So the outgoing driver helps the incoming driver to get buckled up. There's Juliana Holzem helping Sandra Holzem, his twin brother, to get settled into the seat, gets him buckled up, gets him plugged in, apologises for whatever state the tyres might be in, shuts the door and lets him go on his way. So they'll try and back time it so that they hit the white line at the pit exit when the clock strikes 0. You can't just park up at the white line and wait. Once you're in the fast lane, you're kind of on a train that can't stop. So Simon Burt's behind the wheel. You can see the clock's ticking down. Konopka in as well, but keep an eye on the green Pro-Am drivers because they have the potential to jump up the order. We've still got 7 cars out on track. Here we come, busy pit lane. There's Sandro Holzem in front of Jonathan Cecotto, Leighton Fury there as well. Simon Burch was in the background. So they're all going to come out. Now a good stop is hitting the line with about a tenth to spare. That's exactly what Holzem's done, but Cecotto with about 9/10. So he lost a bit of time there, but good tight stops for all of the teams.
Yeah, it was, and you saw a couple of pit stops yesterday within 0.1 of a second of the minimum pit stop time. It's about as close as you can get it. Still 7 minutes and change remaining. So Max Rice now getting out of the number 3 car for Nicholas Callis. Those 3 on the podium yesterday. So they make their minimum pit stop time now. No rush for them at all. Wiebelhaus and Cristani still within 0.8 of a second of each other on the track. Juliano Hansis in 3rd place. He's 10.3 seconds behind them now. Then Alex Fack at the moment out to 4th. Now Alex is going to stay in for as long as possible. It's the quicker of the 2 drivers normally.
That's a big bit of gaffer tape, yeah, isn't it?
Got sheets of gaffer tape going on to the left rear corner of Max Rice's car. So he gets out. He had that most of that coming in the first couple of laps of the race. But good comeback, getting 2 of those places back. And we saw in the first in yesterday's race, Nicholas Callis was driving well as well. So he strapped in.
He's been something of a sensation, hasn't he, Nicholas Callis? And of course, frustrating, he had an injury on his e-scooter while doing the track walk, in inverted commas, at the Nürburgring. It meant that David Schumacher was drafted into the seat at the very last minute. And Nicholas Callis has spent the last 8 weeks thinking of nothing but recovery. He came back at the Salzburgring last weekend, still getting his leg back together, but it was a fairly serious injury, so really good to see him back. But a very, very quick car, very quick driver. The 2 of them together have proven to be really formidable, along with Max Rice as well. Really strong partnership. So he joins now, and he will bring the car all the way to the end. We've still got 6 cars yet to come in, including Wiebelhaus, Cristani, Hanses and Fack. As you already mentioned, I think Fack is going to stay out to the absolute last minute. He is arguably the quicker of the 2 because Alexander Schwarzer is a bronze-rated driver, so they'll want to maximise Alex Fack's time out on track, especially if he's got a bit of space in front of him. Sandra Holzem losing the back end a little bit. And it looks like the gaffer tape is starting to fall off the Nicholas Callis car already.
Yeah, well, it was all right before anyway, wasn't it? Just looks a bit neater, so it should be absolutely fine. Yeah, Alex Fack, you're right, will stay out as long as possible. He's not quite matching the times of the 3 drivers ahead of him at the moment. But Alex, who won the Porsche Supercup race at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone 2 years ago, he was 5th. The top 4 all collided at the start of the race. Harry King, Bastian Boos, Larry Ten Voorde were amongst them. He came through, won the race. And that was the first win in the championship for the team for 5 years. But in comes Finn Wiebelhaus, got his first GT Masters win at this circuit 12 months ago. Could he be on course for another? On the podium yesterday, very good job done by Finn Wiebelhaus. Make sure he hits that pit lane speed limit. When he crossed that white line, you've got to be underneath the maximum pit lane speed limit. The lollipop gets whacked. Salman Vega runs to position, and Finn Wiebelhaus's job is done. But excellent stuff from the 18-year-old, the more experienced Salman Vega now to get in.
Quite interesting strategy bringing him early, actually, because there's still over 4 minutes remaining on the clock. He had the clear track in front of him, but Salman Vega will be itching to get behind the wheel of that, the former champion. At the moment, Crestani is up towards turn 4, leading the way. Julian Hanses still out, but they've still got to come in. Alex Fack in 3rd place. Simon Conor-Prim still to come in, but is up into 4th place. listening in and didn't understand any of that, but he slammed his door, wishes him good luck, and our leader up at turn 6 at the moment.
Might be a masterstroke this, because Crestani at the moment has been stuck for a few corners behind the number 8 car, which has gone out after its pit stop. So maybe they saw that the queue of cars were coming out of the pits. Carclis in the Lamborghini is still in front of Crestani, which is surely going to be holding up the Italian. So might be a stroke of genius that from HRT to bring him in and avoid that number 1 car running in the traffic, as we get wheel-to-wheel action between Fak coming under massive pressure now from Fischer in the number 21 Mercedes. The Schnitzelam car trying to come around the outside, and Janis Fischer does so. So good, tidy move that. Of course, that's not quite for position because Fak hasn't made his pit stop yet, but it shows that Janis Fischer is going to get his head down, and Fak has now come into the pits with 3 minutes to go to hand over to Alex Schwarzer.
He's quite early in as well, but yes, we told you that car was quick, didn't we? Particularly with Janis Fischer at the wheel. You mentioned the car number 8 potentially holding up the race leader is under investigation for not respecting a blue flag telling you that you need to give way to a faster car behind. Right, seat insert is hurled into the garage by Alex Fak. Alexander Schwarzer already in. Alex Fak has been coaching Alexander Schwarzer for the last couple of years. They are the defending Pro-Am champions. Told you Alex Fak, he said, I'm so impressed with the progress that Alexander Schwarzer is making. He just gets faster and faster with every race, and they proved that at the Nürburgring with an overall win. Remember, their pit stop is going to be shorter than those around them, so this is going to put them in a really strong position. The leading stopper, Salmon Ovega, at the moment is coming into turn 9. This car is moving already, so it's going to be out of the pit lane exit long before Salmon Ovega appears on the scene. There is Ovega out of 9 and then into 10, out onto the pit straight, but already Schwarzer is at the exit of the pit lane. There you can see, now he can hit the accelerator. Actually, I have to say, despite the shorter pit stop, Ovega has done a really sterling job there. Yeah, to within 0.6 of a second of the minimum pit stop time of 70 seconds for Fak Autotech, so it wasn't bad at all in that respect. And in comes from the lead of the race, Fabrizio Crestani. So that's going to be a short pit stop as well. This car ought to get out into the lead of the race, but what will the lead be, and how long will his co-driver be able to hang on to that for? Also coming in, Eduardo Cositeng in the FK Performance BMW. There you can see the black and white machine. And also in Simon Conor-Prim in the Pal Motorsport Lamborghini, because we're into the last minute or so of the pit window. Meanwhile, Salmon Ovega has indeed mugged Alexander Schwarzer, so we know they were a little way back coming into the pit window, but I still think that Ovega has been doing some monstrous laps to be able to still be in front, despite that 15-second it's 15-second advantage for the Fak Autotech car. Simon Conor-Prim handing it over to Finn Zulauf, the outgoing ADAC GT4 Germany champion. Ernst Kirschmeier will be behind the wheel of the Ferrari that Fabrizio Crestani has been driving for Baron Motorsports. The Austrian driver, Ernst Kirschmeier, will take over the wheel and should be in a good position to exit the pits in the lead. Having said that, well, 3.6 seconds they've given away, but there is Ernst Kirschmeier, a bit slow out of the blocks, actually. Out along the pit straight already is coming Salmon Ovega. So, yes, they're into the lead, but it's going to be game on for Salmon Ovega. Also, Alexander Schwarzer has come out of this pretty well as well, and they're going to be chasing them down. We've still got 3 cars yet to come in. Make that 2 cars yet to come in. Actually, no, the graphic is suggesting that it's just 2 cars, I beg your pardon, as the pit window closes. So it's Simon Conor-Prim who's handed over to Finn Zulauf, and Hersiger in the number 6 car handing it over to Tim Hooter. Yeah, so in theory, if they've had as good a pit stops as each other, with that shorter pit stop for the Ferrari, what was it, 0.8 of a second, the gap between the top 2 before, with the number 1 Mustang 0.8 of a second clear, so it should be 14.2 seconds ahead. But I don't think it is, because that Mustang of Salmon Ovega, no way that's 14 seconds behind the Ferrari, is there? No. So they've definitely gained ground there. I think what didn't help Alex Fak in trying to
get Alex Schwarzer out into a bit more of a comfortable second place in front of Vega was the fact that he was having that bit of wheel banging with the Mercedes of Janis Fitcher. Oh no, up on the jacks and out of the race, and slamming the car in frustration there. The number 33 machine out of the running. Finn Zulaf has a one lap in the car and he storms away because he's out already. And that is them out of the running for championships. Didn't get going actually, did he?
You can hear the shouting and the frustration and coming into the season, and some understandable frustration from Finn Zulaf. He and Simon Conor-Prim, they were certainly pre-season favourites for the championship, and have had quite a lot of bad luck. Power Motorsport, who prepared that car, and probably just as well I don't speak German there, because I think it's just a lot of frustration, and they can't get the thing going.
Couldn't get started, could they?
No, because they stopped the engine when they come in for the pit stop.
Impossible was the word I got there. And he, when he got out of the car, he's raging, wasn't he? Punched the car, basically.
I think just needs to go out the back of the garage and just sit down for a bit, take it easy. But that, as you say, is their championship over for this year.
Waited all day to get in the car and have a drive as well. All the adrenaline's there, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
There you go, slamming the door in a second. Bang. And bang.
Right, well, look at this. Back to the front. Right, here we go. So that's Jonathan Cecotto in the Mustang. That's Nicholas Callas there as well. Simon Birch, Eduardo Cosateng. Oh my goodness gracious me. All this was going on while we were looking at that. So this is for 6th place. So it was Cosateng at the front of that pack. Well, it's not anymore. Nicholas Callas and also Jonathan Cecotto. Those two Mustangs mugging the BMW, and then followed by Simon Birch. So I think Cecotto has been relegated 3 spots pretty well in the space of 1 lap. So Nicholas Callas getting the squeeze there from Eduardo Cosateng. Learned a few tricks from Julian Hanses, hasn't he? But left a gap instead on the inside with Jonathan Cecotto. The two cars bounce off each other. We did well to keep them out of the gravel trap, I think. Some fairly ballsy driving from these drivers. Looking at Nicholas Callas there, you can see the whites of his eyes, just keeping the power on. The incident between the two of these cars, that incident there is under investigation by the stewards. Probably tell them just to calm down a bit there. So it almost ended in tears, but they kept it all together. Simon Birch had the best view of all, just held back and then waited for his moment to pounce on Eduardo Cosateng.
HRT got any more gaffer tape for the other side of the car now? Meanwhile, we're not far away from seeing a change of lead, because Ernst Kirchmeier was only 3.3 seconds clear of Salman Vega as they crossed the line. Vega was half a second quicker through the first sector, and he was nearly a second quicker through the middle sector. So that gap has come down to less than 2 seconds. They're about to come through turn 10. So I reckon up at turn 3, maybe turn 1, but probably up at turn 3, we're going to get a change of lead with that #1 Mustang of Salman Vega poised and ready to take the lead. The other battle to watch is going to be between 1st and 3rd in the race, because they're battling for the Pro-Am win. Can Alex Schwarzer catch the Ferrari in the remaining 20.5 minutes of the race? But Vega, it feels inevitable, doesn't it? He's got a 3.8 second gap down to 1.3 seconds as they charge up towards turn 3.
And you can see there the live point standings. So if things remain as they are now, with Leighton Fury all the way down in 10th place, steep mountain to climb, the championship would still go into the next round, the final round, but it really would be advantage Vega and Wiebelhaus. Right, we look there at Holzem in 4th place, Sandro Holzem. To the inside comes Johnny Cecotto on Jonas Karklees. Karklees wisely not putting up too much of a fight. This is not his battle to fight today. He is in the Pro-Am fight. He's currently in 3rd place in the Liquimoli Team Exa Lamborghini, so he very wisely steps out of the way, because Nicholas Callas is not stopping for anybody at the moment. And now Simon Birch as well ducks down the inside, fancies having a go, and Nicholas Callas into turn 4 as well. Right, this is for the lead. So the #1 car, Ernst Kirchmeier, leading the way. It is Salman Vega in 2nd place to the inside. Ernst Kirchmeier not really putting putting up too much of a fight. The Mustang goes sailing through. We have a new leader of the race. Back to the lead for car number 1. The HRT Mustang now leading the way with 19.25 minutes remaining.
The nice thing for Salman Vega there, he could take his time. He did sit behind him for most of the lap, because he was still going to get maximum points if he finished behind that car. Anyway, it's a guest car, and also the car that's behind him is also another Pro-Am and not fighting for the championship. He's actually got a massive gap back to the 4th place car, which is the first of the non-Pro-Ams that he's got to worry about. So he, I think, just sensibly took his time there about getting through. For the Ferrari driver there, Kirschmeier, it was probably a good idea not to fight that too hard, because his battle really is with this car, isn't it, the Porsche. And if you defend too fervently from a car, you hold yourself up. You brake too deep, you take too tight a lines into the corner. There's no point defending really, because his battle is with that Porsche behind, and the gap between those two is going to start to come down pretty rapidly. I think it's just over 3 seconds at the moment for the Pro-Am win for 2nd place overall.
Fabrizio Crestani and Ernst Kirschmeier made their debut in ADAC GT Masters this time last year at this circuit. They got a 6th place. That was their best result that weekend. They were in the Racing 1 Ferrari that year. This year, they are in the Barron Motorsport team, the team that's run by Philip Barron, a racer himself. At one point, we thought we were going to see him racing this weekend, but they are in such a strong position in that 2nd place. Still a podium, very much a possibility. Look at Janis Fitcher. So 12th place was the position he was in. He's already muscled his way up to 11th place, not quite, because Eduardo Costadeng's come back at him in the BMW, so still in 12th place at the moment, but Costadeng's going to have his work cut out. That Mercedes AMG car, prepared by SR Racing by Schnitzelam, very, very fast. We saw it yesterday, apart from the mechanical issue. Now out along the pit straight they come towards turn 1, just ahead of them, Nico Hanske, yesterday's winner, in 10th place. So get the feeling there might be a bit of shuffling for position coming up, because they're going to get a good exit out of turn 1. Up ahead of them is Leighton Fury. He's got Jonas Karklees up ahead in the Pro-Am race. Karklees moves to one side, knows that the BMW is a lot quicker up the hill towards turn 3. So behind them, here comes Janis Fitcher on the outside of Eduardo Costadeng, but Costadeng has the inside line into the corner. You can see in the background the 2 cars running side by side. Fitcher has got past, Hanske has got past the Karklees Lamborghini as well as they head towards turn 4. But Leighton Fury in that 8th place now with yesterday's winner Nico Hanske lined up behind. Not for long though, ducks to the inside. So now Nico Hanske, the inside, he's going to try and hang it around the outside. No, he's not, so he ducks in back behind now, try and get a tighter exit out of the corner to try and move alongside Leighton Fury. At the moment, those positions aren't changing, but keep an eye on Janis Fitcher behind, because he is coming to attack.
Yeah, got the job done on Eduardo Costadeng. Here he goes, trying to find a way past the Liquimoli Lamborghini. Probably has to be patient here, or maybe not. No, he goes for it straight away over the crest into the right-hander at turn 9. And Fitcher has gained another place, so he's gone from 12th to 10th on this lap. Costadeng gets through as well. As a problem maybe for the Lamborghini, or maybe he's just lost all of his rhythm and momentum, those other cars coming through. So Karklees tumbling down the order, but of course his battle isn't really with them. He's a Pro-Am driver. Great onboard pictures here. You see just how brutal it is on the curbs as they make their way through turn 1. Simon Birch on the attack in the Porsche, right on board with him now, trying to follow what's left of the back end of that Ford Mustang as they go flat out through turn 2, and then down to just 60 kilometers an hour as they hit the brakes at the top of the hill. The Porsche looks to the inside, gets on the gas. Simon Birch in his first season of GT3 racing, trying to get through, but not going to be able to succeed in doing that, I don't think, on the way into turn 4. So Vega leads from the Ferrari. Schwartz still closing the gap. That's 1.8 seconds now, the gap between the 2 top Pro-Ams who run 2nd and 3rd. And this battle again very tight, but again the Mustang just about holds on to the position. So yeah, Fitcher has got right away from them in that Mercedes, hasn't he? He's absolutely flying, having carved his way through a couple of positions. It was a suspension, broken suspension, that put the Janis Fitcher Moritz Viskerschen car out at turn 1 yesterday.
So Simon Birch has proven that he has zero patience when it comes to passing cars on the track. You can see how eager he is. He's got a championship in mind in that 7th place. There ahead of him is Nicholas Callas in the Mustang, then Jonathan Cecotto in 5th place. So what can Simon Birch do about them? Along the pit straight comes once again, lining up the Mustang in front. Just makes sure he's getting a good exit out of turn 1. Then it'll be the charge along turn 2 towards turn 3. In the background there, Janis Fischer continuing to put the pressure on Nico Handke to get into that 9th place. Meanwhile, there is the Alexander Schwarzer Porsche in 3rd place. So he's catching up with Ernst Kirschmeier. Last time across the line, it was 1.354 seconds. There was the gap between them. I think there's significantly less than that now as they break into turn 4. So a challenge potentially for 2nd place and also for the win in the Pro-Am race may be incoming.
Yeah, and Alex Schwarzer, 38 years of age, his 2nd season of this championship. Did lots of racing in the Porsche Sports Cup Swiss Championship, did some guest drives in Porsche Super Cup, Porsche Carrera Cup Italia, but really finding his feet now in this championship, winning, as you said, the Pro-Am title last year. Just keep an eye on Sandro Olsen's times as well. 1:31 dead last time around, so he is a second a lap quicker than the Ferrari of Kirschmeier, and also catching the Porsche of Schwarzer. So could still be an overall podium on the cards for the Holton twins, having just missed out on one yesterday when they finished in a slightly frustrated 4th place. Here though is Leighton Fury, now still trying to fend off the Audi, the race-winning Audi from yesterday of Nico Handke, and the Mercedes of Janis Fischer. 8th, 9th and 10th, and Fury has to dig in because he needs every point he can to try and stay within a reasonable distance of the championship leaders going to the final round at Hockenheim. They, of course, lead the race here.
We're not focusing too much on Samuel Vega. He's at the front, and that's because he's got an 8.5-second gap to Fabrizio Crestani, so really in control of this. Crestani and Schwarzer together, then the closing, Sandro Holzem, then this battle here. Jonathan Cecotto, Nicholas Callas and Simon Birch. A little gap then back to Leighton Fury, Nico Handke and Janis Fischer, so lots still to watch here. Jonas Karklees now yielding to Gerhard Twereza. Lamborghini versus Lamborghini. Jonas Karklees has come through the route of touring car racing. Gerhard Twereza, a regular visitor to GT Masters last year. The two Lamborghinis neck and neck as they head towards turn 4, but Twereza has the faster line into the corner. As long as he can get it slowed down, job done. Position taken away, and Karklees drops back a position, so that is down to 13th place, but that is still 3rd place in the Pro-Am race because Karklees, with that green number, not really needing to get into a ruck with Gerhard Twereza. 4th in the Pro-Am race is Gonda, Richard Gonda, to give him his correct title, in the BMW. He is a little way back from that battle.
Yeah, Gerhard Twereza in that number 44 Lamborghini was quick enough to be 3rd in qualifying yesterday, but later got disqualified, but had a really good first stint yesterday. Pulled off lots of overtakes to get through the order. Are we going to see an overtake at turn 1? Thought about it, didn't he, Simon Birch, but not so. So he stays behind Nicholas Callas in the battle for 6th place. Meanwhile, this is the battle for 2nd overall, the Pro-Am winner, and Alex catching up now. Schwarzer outbraking Kirschmeier in that Ferrari, gaining about a car's length in the Porsche and going for it here. And there's more side-by-side action once again up at turn 3. Switch of position there, and the Mustang has now been split by the Mustangs have been split by the Porsche because that was Birch getting at the inside of Callas. So up to 6th place for him, and Fury, I'm afraid, is about to lose another place and more championship points because yesterday's winner Nico Handke diving down the inside, under braking, the Audi goes through at turn 4, and that's him now to 8th place.
So Leighton Fury losing that position, and soon Janis Fischer is going to want to get involved as well. The rapid Mercedes has the look to the inside, has the look to the outside. So this is for 8th place at the moment. 8th place is the way of Nico Handke. 9th is Leighton Fury. Lots of battling going on. 8th and 9th and 10th. They are running there together in the evening sunshine here at the Red Bull Ring. 10 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of race 10 of a 12-race season. We were worried it was going to rain. We needn't have worried. It's a glorious evening here. Not so glorious for car 21. There's a black and white flag for track limits. So needs to be careful. Keep it in the circuit. Right. Bronze versus bronze. This is for 2nd place. It is Ernst Kirschmeier in the red and black Ferrari on his 2nd round, a second visit to ADAC GT Masters, having done the 2 races here last weekend with the current and defending Pro-Am champion, Alexander Schwarzer, following his every move, but closing in on both of them. Sandro Holzem in the number 56 BMW. And there's a nice replay of how close Alexander Schwarzer is now getting to Ernst Kirschmaier and how wide on turn 1 Ernst Kirschmaier is going. You see all the rubber in the run-off area. But Ernst Kirschmaier doing a great job. I wish to go on about his age, but he's nearly 70 years old and he's driving like he stole it, as they say in the trade. And in second place in the GT Masters race, no mean feat.
Behind them, I reckon Simon Birch has got 5th place from Jonathan Cicotto, who's all over him right in the background of the shot through turn 3. And looking at the track map that we get from the timing screen into turn 4, the positions change. So a couple of places gained for Birch. Almost mathematically, he's still in the championship fight. Another point gained. If he's running in 5th place, he'll get the points for 4th, which would give him 13 points, which would put Simon Birch and Leo Pickler 57 points behind the championship leaders. But there's only 56 available at Hockenheim. So if we get one more place out of the road, then mathematically might have a chance, albeit massively slim, going into Hockenheim. But yeah, Simon Birch confirmed up into 5th place now.
Alexander Schwarzer is going to wish he'd made that move stick on Ernst Kirschmaier. You've seen him drop back now a little because suddenly he's occupied with Holzem, who's coming through. In fact, not so occupied. He left a big gap on the inside. Again, choosing not to put up too much of a fight. Maybe the inevitable that big BMW was going to get past, and it's not the fight that he's in with today. Crestani is his main opposition in the Pro-Am race. So Sandro Holzem moves up into an overall podium position. Into 3rd place he comes, the former DTM racer. Alexander Schwarzer, though, now thinks, maybe I could get back past him here and get back on the podium. But I think Holzem has this one covered off at the moment. Will set about Fabrizio Crestani. Probably won't hang about too much trying to attack him. Time starting to run out, 7¼ minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race. While all this is going on, Salman Vega has a lead of just a fraction under 14 seconds, which is a monumental lead in the world of GT Masters. This is the fight for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all running together. I think Sandro Holzem is lining himself up for a move.
Yeah, which is about to come. He's all over that Ferrari. Kirschmaier sees the flashing headlights of the BMW. The BMW almost alongside. Kirschmaier doesn't really want to fight this one too hard, does he? Because he's not really battling the BMW, which gives him a nudge through the corner. Out wide over the curbs goes Kirschmaier. Remember, 69 years of age, driving brilliantly here. But the inside line now belongs to the BMW. When they get to the top of the hill, Holzem should be able to get through and into 2nd place. And look, Alex Schwarzer is getting oh so close now in the Porsche. So Holzem goes 2nd and Schwarzer bounces, but they can't quite get through. Over the curbs, contact with the side of the Ferrari lightly. He tried the move. He would like to have been a bit closer to Holzem's BMW to do a double overtake, but it didn't quite happen. And Kirschmaier, just by the skin of his teeth, hangs on to the Pro-Am class lead.
But look who is in the background. Simon Birch is closing at the rate of knots on Alexander Schwarzer and Fabrizio and Ernst Kirschmaier. So you can see there the red and white Porsche in the background behind the red and white Porsche. So now I think Alexander Schwarzer is going to be occupied again with what's coming from behind. Remember, though, his main opposition is Fabrizio Crestani and Ernst Kirschmaier. They are sharing that Ferrari in front, and if he can get in front of this car, it will be for a win in the Pro-Am race. He goes to the outside into turn 9. Ernst Kirschmaier positions the Ferrari well, keeps it tidy through the corner, but now Simon Birch is going to get involved as well. He will not be patient as he tries to sail past the Pro-Am duo in front of him. Out along the pit straight they will come. Simon Birch will know this is really important in his championship hunt to get in front of these cars. He moves to the inside of Alexander Schwarzer. The 2 red and white Porsches alongside each other. Razzoon, More Than Racing, the local team, FAC Autotech, the Swiss team pulling ahead just slightly, but now Simon Birch inches in front along the really fast turn 2. Up the hill they'll come towards turn 3 in a moment. And Birch has that inside line, job done, nice and tidy. Now he'll set about Ernst Kirschmeier next up the road and move up potentially into third place in this race. But we've only got 4.5 minutes remaining, so how much further can Simon Birch go? How many more points can he score as he moves forward in this race?
Well, at the moment, Birch is up to 4th, but he gets the points for 3rd. 16 points, 54 now behind the championship leader. So they are in the window and will just about go to Hockenheim, still mathematically in contention for the championship. So he had to go for it. He's going to get for another position here on the road as well, potentially. And then you've also got coming into play Jonathan Cecotto now in that second of the Ford Mustangs, the first of which is miles up the road. Salman Vega leading the race by a huge amount. Here we go then, side by side, Porsche's ganging up on the Ferrari. One goes through, the other can't quite do it though, and Ernst Kirschmeier still hanging on to it, and then the Mustang splits the Pro-Ams up as well as Jonathan Cecotto splits the battle at turn 10.
Out onto the pit straight they come, once again up ahead of them. Holzum is just putting a lap on the Lamborghini, so Nicholas Callas in the number 3 car pulling alongside. So Alexander Schwarzer feeling mugged by Mustangs. They're ganging up on him, the two Mustangs running together and leaving Alexander Schwarzer behind in their wake. So Schwarzer relegated down the order, but he's still second in the Pro-Am race, but it's given the Ernst Kirschmeier Ferrari a little bit of breathing room. So suddenly there are two Mustangs in the way of the challenge for the Pro-Am lead.
Yeah, it just shows, doesn't it, when you've got quicker cars coming through, it can affect your own battle and where you get passed by them, how much they delay you. We're massively frustrated, Alex Schwarzer, because yeah, I mean, he's fighting for position on the track, but he really wants to catch that Ferrari to win the Pro-Am category. And Ernst Kirschmeier using his vast experience here to great effect, but now he has to deal with two very rapid Mustangs, Cecotto and Callas ganging up on him, and straight away Jonathan Cecotto chucks it down the inside and gets through at turn 7. So that's one through, and the Ferrari getting out of shape as he got onto the throttle there as well, over the crest and down into turn 9 now. The V8 Mustang all over him, and Schwarzer there in the Porsche has got to try and get as close as he can to the back of Nicholas Callas now, because if Callas goes through, he can maybe follow him through, and Callas thinks about it on the way out of turn 10. Here comes the Porsche, Brian.
The Porsche out along the pit straight with the slipstream. Right, well, there's a Lamborghini going a little bit off the pace. They go either side of that car. Up into turn 1 they come. Ernst Kirschmeier doing a sterling job holding off from all the pressure behind. Nicholas Callas just behind him. Then Alexander Schwarzer in the background is yesterday's winner, Nico Handke. Leighton Fury in the background. Meanwhile, in the Pro-Am race, Jonas Karklees is 3rd, but coming under pressure from Richard Gonda in 14th place in the number 23 car. He's closing in on him. So the Pro-Am podium very much up for discussion here in the GT Masters. At the moment, Ernst Kirschmeier along with Fabrizio Crestani, who drive that number 66 car, still holding on to the Pro-Am lead. All the silver cars getting in the way and stopping the challenge from Alexander Schwarzer. Schwarzer down in that 7th place.
Yeah, Callas got through, didn't he, at turn 4 in the Mustang. So now it's a straight fight between the Ferrari and the Porsche, at least for now, for the Pro-Am win. However, as you say, Handke coming after them now in the blue and luminous yellow Audi. So Schwarzer thinks, I've got to get on with this now. There's only a minute left on the clock plus 1 lap. I don't want the Audi to hold me up now and get in between us. So it's now or never, you sense, for Alexander Schwarzer in the Porsche, trying to get past this Ferrari, but also trying to defend his home position. And Nico Handke, from his point of view, wants to get past both of them, get higher up the order, and try and stay in touch with the two Mustangs ahead. He gets a really good run coming out through turn 10. Fantastic onboard pictures here from the back of the Porsche. Alongside him now comes the Audi, and Handke is going to get out the inside of Alex Schwarzer, which is exactly what Schwarzer did not want.
Yeah, Alex Schwarzer is now going to have that Audi in the way. He's fighting back though, isn't he? Out onto turn 2, running side by side, but Handke's going to have the line up the hill into turn 3, and as long as he can get it slowed down nice and tidy, he's going to have that position. A great view from Leighton Fury in the BMW. He's going to try and make it 2 cars in the way between 1st and 2nd in the Pro-Am race. So they're all ganging up on Alexander Schwarzer at the moment. It's allowing Ernst Kirschmeier to break clear. He's in 6th place, but leading in the Pro-Am race, now with a couple of cars as a buffer, and the clock has struck 0. So our race leader, Simon Vega, some 20 seconds ahead of Sandro Holzem, is coming into turn 10. So he will have just 1 lap remaining, which means that these cars will have 1 lap to sort this all out. And the challenge for a win in the Pro-Am race for Alexander Schwarzer starting to fade away. Leighton Fury in 9th place, also there, needs the points as well. So would dearly love to get past that Porsche, the Pro-Am Porsche that's in front of him, because that would be more points on the championship hunt. Nico Handke has a look on the outside of Ernst Kirschmeier. Kirschmeier might do well just to let Nico Handke go into the final lap of the race we come. It's Simon Vega who's taken over, and Finn Wiebelhaus, the pole-sitting car that leads the way into the final lap here at the Red Bull Ring. Now Leighton Fury to the inside of Alexander Schwarzer into turn 1. Schwarzer carrying more momentum on the outside, but Fury is through. So up into the 9th position, 8th position for Leighton Fury, but Schwarzer coming back at him as well. Never give up as they head up the hill towards turn 3 for the very last time. Fury on the inside in the BMW has the line. Is Fitcher going to follow through as well? Not quite close enough. So Alexander Schwarzer dropping back into that 9th place. But Janis Fitcher's not done, but he's got Gerhard Twereza behind him in towards turn 4 for the very last time. Our race leader is miles up the road, up at turn 9 at the moment, but we're still scrapping over the minor places. Meanwhile, Simon Vega is into turn 10 for the very last time. He sees the checkered flag in front of him. It's maximum points for Simon Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus. A pole position followed by a win. 28 points going their way. One hand on the trophy in the ADAC GT Masters. Next across the line will come Sandro Holzem. Simon Birch had been going like the clappers, catching up with Sandro Holzem in 2nd place, but not quite enough time. He comes to the line, tries to make a run for it, but Holzem has that 2nd place. Birch in 3rd. Jonathan Chicotto comes across the line next, then Nicholas Callas, then Nico Handke, but it's going to be a win in the Pro-Ams for Ernst Kirschmeier and Fabrizio Crestani, despite all the pressure. And they are ahead of Leighton Fury and Tim Zimmerman in 8th place, and then Team Alex in 9th. 2nd of the Pro-Ams, Alexander Schwarzer and Alex Fack ahead of Janis Fitcher and Moritz Viskersen. Then Gerhard Twereza in the 44 car, along with Adam Konopka, ahead of Eduardo Kozadeng and Julian Hanses. Richard Gonda, good strong job there with Rudolf Benno, and Gonda did get past Jonas Karkby, so takes the 3rd step of the Pro-Am podium.
Yeah, some pictures of a very frustrated Alexander Schwarzer there. They all caught him up at exactly the wrong point, didn't they?
Yeah.
As he was trying to get the Pro-Am win. They just kept getting past him, getting in between them, getting in the way. Oh, so close, but excellent driving from Kirschmeier in the 2nd half of that race. He missed all the fun, Simon Vega, that was happening behind, all on his own. 22 seconds clear. But as you say, another 25 points coming the way of Simon Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus, who win from the Holzems, who stayed just 80,000 of a second ahead of Simon Birch. Sandro Holzem just by a whisker holding on to that 2nd place. Simon Birch, though, with that 3rd place that he got with Leo Pickler, I reckon mathematically just still in the championship, point 54 behind. They would have dearly loved 4 more points, so to grab 2nd on the line. It didn't quite happen.
Tell you what, it didn't stop for one moment. That was an hour of racing, and it was action all the way. The same as yesterday in the ADAC GT Masters. Really, really good stuff here. Frustration, only one non-finisher, Simon Conner-Prim and Finn Zulaf in the Power Motorsport Lamborghini. So 16 of the 17 runners making it to the end, but proving how entertaining the ADAC GT Masters are in 2025.
Yeah, and the Silver Cup, it's looking like a straight fight between Vega Wiebelhaus and then the BMW pairing of Fury and Zimmerman. But Pickler and Birch, again, they've moved ahead of Zulaf and Prim up to 3rd in the Silver Cup battle, 49 points adrift, so still in contention for that one as well. And despite the frustration for the 2 Alexes, Schwarzer and Fack, they of course got the points for the win at least in the Pro-Am category, so they've extended their advantage now over Karklis and Yerdrum, who finished 4th overall in the Pro-Ams in that race.
Simon Vega knows how to win a championship. He's done it in 2023, along with Elias Seppänen on that occasion. We knew when he got together with Finn Wiebelhaus, they were going to be a potent combination. So that was Simon Vega's 9th win in this series. It was the 3rd win for Finn Wiebelhaus in ADAC GT Masters. Certainly not the last, that is for sure. But Finn Wiebelhaus having won here a year ago and also at Nürburgring earlier this year. The Holzums done a really solid job with that 2nd place. The first win still waiting to come, but now Giuliano has equalled his brother. They both had a 2nd place. It was back in 2023 that Sandro Holzum got a 2nd place in ADAC GT Masters. Now his brothers had a 2nd place as well. The 3rd place for Simon Birch and Leo Pickler. I think they will be pretty disappointed with that, having won both the races at the season opener. We're looking like really strong championship favourites, but now hanging on by a thread in that championship hunt. So the cars rolling into Parc Fermé. There is Giuliano Holzum hugging his twin brother. And the duo that we saw about 3 or 4 years ago now in ADAC GT for Germany. They were in a Der Motorsport Aston Martin, if I remember rightly. I also remember wiping the side off the car here at the Red Bull Ring, but we won't mention that now because they're hugely talented drivers. We've seen Sandro in DTM, and they have really found their home, though, in GT Masters, working really well together. Such a quick combination of drivers. There's Simon Birch, Leo Pickler next to him with the hat on.
They're a couple of real talents, those two, aren't they?
Great drivers.
Really well, yeah. And you've got Finn Wiebelhaus, 18 years of age, leading the championship. Had one teenage champion last year. Might get another one this season as well. Elias Seppänen winning the title for a 2nd year last year, but alongside him was teenage sensation Tom Callender, who's been a regular point scorer this season in DTM, the youngest ever DTM driver, and now with, again, a kind of more experienced driver alongside him. That man there, Simon Vega, former champion himself. You got another teenager, albeit slightly older, at 18, Finn Wiebelhaus there to the left of the picture, who's doing great things, learning very rapidly. So good to see some talented German drivers coming up through, some of them GT4s, some of them now into GT3 straight away, but all of them with a bright future ahead.
I was looking at Leo Pickler, I was just thinking, I think it was back in 2021, I saw him in GT4 Germany racing here. He was in a KTM Crossbow. There's an unusual car. KTM, who are based a stone's throw from the Red Bull Ring here. And what a change, really. Leo Pickler, it's certainly great to see him. And Simon Birch, we knew he was going to be good, didn't we?
Cool car, though, the Crossbow.
It's getting through the roof.
Yeah.
You lift the whole top of the car off to get in.
You certainly would learn how to drive a car on a bit of a knife edge if you can control of those. So it would have been good practice, I reckon.
Right, well, there is Leo Pickler along with Simon Birch. Razzoon More Than Racing, their home race here at the Red Bull Ring. So 3rd place, well, it's kept them just about in the championship hunt. Really solid job from the Holzum twins, Giuliano and Sandro. In 2nd place in the legendary Schubert Motorsport BMW. Very pretty car, if I'm not biased at all, you understand. But leading the way in the Mustang, once again, Simon Vega, Finn Wiebelhaus for Haupt Racing, another legendary team. But surely now, with one hand on the trophy, they must be thinking about it. They're going to have a pretty disastrous time at the Hockenheim Ring in a couple of weeks' time to not win this title. But so much can happen in the ADAC GT Masters. So we take nothing as read. They've got to get to the end of the races. 56 points still on the table, 25 for a win and 3 for pole position in qualifying. Those 2 races, which will take place on the 3rd to the 5th of October at the Hockenheim Ring, the last of the sprint races this year, and that will round off what has been a great year for ADAC GT Masters. This new format that has been adopted this year. We started with some experimental endurance weekends last year. This year, the decision was made for 50% of the races to be endurance races. Also, we've seen in the last couple of years DTM returning to its roots created as a platform for amateur drivers to battle alongside emerging talents. That's exactly what we've seen here in GT Masters here at the Red Bull Ring. Some great slow-mos as we wait for the drivers to make their way up onto the podium. Lots of marbles bouncing around. Some good stuff here from our camera crew, doing a really solid job. There is a dandelion, I do believe, in the breeze. Plant identification, weed identification, and that's lasted all weekend, so I'm quite surprised about that.
It's lasted longer than the bollards, hasn't it?
Yeah,
that way.
They should use dandelions as track markers.
What about bollard number 943? Ex-DTM star Manuel Reuter there has been very much involved in the HRT and the Ford Mustang programme. And there, Uli Fritz, who has brought a vast amount of knowledge to HRT over the last few years. And to begin with, his Mercedes knowledge as well. As former head of Mercedes programme in DTM and now helping to run the Mustangs in DTM and very successfully in this ADAC GT Masters Championship, because they've got another win here. So our podium celebrations begin, and a really good result that for Simon Birch and Leo Pickler to get the podium and keep themselves just about in title contention for the overall title and for the Silver Cup. Simon Birch absolutely flying at the end of that race. Now, he just missed out on the podium yesterday. Sandro and Giuliano Holzem bring the BMW home in second place, but the win, and that's now 5 podiums from the last 6 races, goes to the pair who are making their way onto the top step of the podium, Finn Wiebelhaus and Salmon Vega. Good day for HRT. Hubert Haupt's team with a win once again in GT Masters, so they'll be represented on the podium as well. And next it will be time for the national anthem. Well, another proud moment for Salmon Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus, for Ford as well, and for HRT. A hard-fought race, that. Not for those two particularly, although they had the battle at the start of the race with the Ferrari, but second half of the race, it was all about keeping focus for Salmon Vega, while all the mayhem happened behind. A really entertaining race, that, once again, from the ADAC GT Masters Championship. So, trophies now being presented. First up to our winning pair of drivers, Salmon Vega and Finn Wiebelhaus. And next up, a couple of these spectacular Red Bull trophies from the mayor, Deputy Mayor of Spielberg now. The local mayor presented to our second place finishers, Sandro and Giuliano Holzem, who've been impressive this year, definitely making good progress as drivers, those two. And our Pirelli representative now presents the third place trophy to the Porsche pairing of Leo Pickler and Simon Birch. Not forgetting, of course, that trophy, because this, after all, Brian, is a team sport, and HRT have done a terrific job today. Yeah, HRT doing a sterling job. Remember, they're not just doing GT Masters this weekend, they're also fielding 2 cars in the DTM, and so they have done a really solid job. Those trophies are gorgeous, and our drivers do like points, but having one of those on your mantelpiece, that's going to be something to tell people about, isn't it? The trophies have been distributed, and sort of Mike David Ortman yesterday, he still says it's his all-time favourite trophy that he's ever won, is the Red Bull that you get here at the Red Bull Ring. The champagne celebration starts amongst the drivers in the overall race to round up what has been a wonderful weekend here at the Red Bull Ring. 2 races that were absolutely action-packed. So we have just now 2 more races left. It's going to be from the 3rd to the 5th of October at the Hockenheim Ring, the final 2 sprint races of the year, where we will find the identity of the champions 2025 ADAC GT Masters. We'll see you there.
squeeze. Look at this, side by side.
Pulling out right in front and really good close racing. Wonderful stuff.